today in an interview. We're here in Denmark, as you guys know. We're covering some boxing events on Saturday, Friday and Saturday. But today, Monday, we open up the week in a very special way. I'm very honored and thrilled to be here. I gotta breathe. Lars Romann Engel. This is the artistic director of the Hamlet Scene. Did I say it right?
Absolutely correct.
And I just want to thank you for allowing us to be here today. It is a big deal. You have such a great reputation, and we're just gonna talk about you and your company and the work. Okay? So I would like to cover first, to begin with, how do you end up here? This is the way. We need to go back to the beginning, your upbringing and your background, and how do you got here?
Yeah, you know, I'm a theater director myself, so I was trained at the National Theater School here in Denmark. And in 2004, I was asked by the municipality in Elsinore of producing a new Hamlet, because for many years it has been mostly foreign companies has come here, so they wanted to have a Danish Hamlet. So I was asked as a very young director to do a new Hamlet, and I was very thrilled and also very, scared about doing a Hamlet here, because this is the Hamlet spot in the universe.
Right.
So it's a very special place to do a Hamlet. So I was a little afraid of doing it, but I did it, and I did it together with my wife, Katja Engel, and she's a stage designer. Oh, nice. And we did the show, and we had the best Danish actors at that time in the show. Okay. So we did that performance in 2004, and that was my kind of Shakespearean breakthrough, you can say. Before that, I have done all kind of performances.
Yeah, I guess it was overwhelming.
It was very overwhelming and fantastic to work here at the castle. And in the same year, you can say that the mayor and the municipality, they found out, okay, they had so much press of doing a special Hamlet with Danish actors here in Denmark. So maybe there was more in it than only producing one performance. So 4 years later, they decided to make a producing theater here at the castle. So that was the reason why I went. I ended up here, as you said.
I ended up here. I mean, it is because Hamlet is Hamlet, and it's a scary thing for any actor, anyway.
Yeah. It's a best role to play, you can say.
Yeah. No, what about casting all the actors for your production? Do you audition, or you already brought people that you knew from the past? I mean, how do you?
It's different because the Shakespeare Festival is the oldest Shakespeare festival in the world. It started up in 1816, so it's quite a while. And the festival is always inviting companies from abroad. So the shows in the festival, normally we do not produce ourselves. We invite the productions. Okay. So many of the productions that you have heard about and that has been here has been companies that we have been working together with for a long time, and invite them to come here to be a part of the festival. And everybody is very keen to come here to the festival because it's a place to be. Right. Because we know this is an authentic Hamlet Castle, and we know that Shakespeare's first group called Lord Chamberlain's Men. The three actors, they worked here. Yeah, they were here.
I forgot the names. William Pemp,
Thomas
George
Pope,
Bryan, and
George Bryan. Yeah.
Right.
They came here back in the medieval times and worked for the Danish king Frederick II.
Who was a big.
He was a very big.
He loved the theater.
Yeah, he loved the theater, and he was the first European real Renaissance king, you can say. He was very obsessed about the new ideas from the Wittenberg, Martin Luther's Wittenberg, and how to become a modern man. So he was very interested in the new paradigm shift, you can say, and all the new ideas from Wittenberg. So he wanted to enter the stage as a European's first Renaissance king. And that's why also, as you said, he was very interested in theatre. And these three actors you just mentioned, they went back to London in 1585 and met William Shakespeare. And at that time he was a very young man, he was 23 years old.
A charming actor too.
Yeah. So he just came in from Stratford-upon-Avon, where he came from, and wanted to be an actor. And they met, and very quickly they actually made a group, a theatre group. And this is very new, because at that time, Shakespeare's time, it wasn't, it wasn't normal to have a group. So it's very new that they are actually basing a group and work together as a group, theatre group. It's new. And the three actors who went to Denmark, they came from the first organized troupe ever, called Earl Leicester's Men. It is actually the first medieval time organized theatre troupe. And Lord Chamberlain's Men was the second one.
Right.
And was run by Shakespeare.
Right? When people think about Shakespeare back in the day when he was a young, I still have the movie Shakespeare in Love. But it was a young actor who was loaded with a lot of energy.
Absolutely.
Shakespeare was a man who was
he was very powerful.
Very powerful.
Exactly.
And writing all this wonderful material, but it's been, for any actor anywhere, it's a big challenge to work with William Shakespeare, because it's, once again, it's overwhelming material. And I heard interviews from Kenneth Branagh and Vanessa Redgrave and Judi Dench when they say, well, it's William Shakespeare, but we don't have to. I mean, he's the greatest playwright, but we cannot put him up there in a pedestal that we can't reach him. No, we have to bring it to us.
As it was in his own time.
Right.
Because when you went to theater in Shakespeare's own time, they ate and drank and they had a lot of fun at the same time. Right. So something happened in the European tradition of performing Shakespeare. It has become very, what can I say, high profile in a way. And it wasn't from the very beginning. It was very common to do Shakespeare. Right. So we have to bring it back.
Right.
Yeah, it's a strong storytelling for every man, and that's important to say.
But it's a big challenge too.
Yeah, because it's in verse.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a challenge, you can say.
How do you approach the rehearsals? Let's say in just an X rehearsal for any scene. How do you approach it? What kind of work do you like to do with the actors?
Yeah, but when you start up a Shakespeare performance, it's very important to start up telling the true story, so everybody around the performance knows about why are we doing this show. This is general for all performances, but particularly when you're doing Shakespeare, because it's difficult to access, you can say. So it's very important to be very clear about what is your vision, why are we doing this, and what is it actually about. If you take Hamlet, it's about a young man losing his father. He dies and he gets a new dad, so it's very easy to relate to that. Everybody knows what it does it mean to have a new dad. It's difficult.
Right,
so if you approach it like this and tell the actors what is the real story going on, then it's much easier.
Right, because it's a deep sense of humanity.
Absolutely, it's very existential, you can say.
It's all about love and death and treason. And how we can become greedy and obsessed with power.
Exactly.
And Hamlet is a universal, obviously.
Absolutely, it's a universal story, you can say.
And anybody can relate to this, but of course, it's been the most famous play ever written.
Absolutely, and that's because it's a very. From Shakespeare's side, you can say it's the first real story about how to become a modern man, because a modern man means that you take care of your own life and you are responsible. You take responsibility on your own life and so on. So it's a new kind of framing of the story.
Right.
And Hamlet, he fights for his own civil rights. You can say he wants to be himself and be in demand of his own life. You can say.
And he questions. And he is room for doubt.
Absolutely. So he's the first kind of, normally we say he's a kind of icon of the first modern man ever, because he's framing what does it mean to be a modern man and what does it mean to have an existence and to have an identity and so on. It's very modern words, and that's the idea from Shakespeare's hand, what Hamlet is about. Normally it is not explained like I'm explaining it right now, because many people sees it like a Freud kind of piece, it's about Hamlet is in love with his mother and blah blah, and it's so boring and so not right. And it's not right. It's a much bigger story about how to become a decent person without fighting and this blood revenge.
Right.
So the whole story is a kind of story.
It's an inner search.
Yeah, it's an inner search and going against, you can say, this blood revenge which was ruling at this time. The problem was, when you have blood revenge, you kill one in my family and then I have to kill one in your family. And at the end there is nobody left. So that's a problem. So if you want to be in charge of your own life, you can't rely on the past. You have to be strong on your own demands, you can say. So that's what the Hamlet story actually is about. That Hamlet goes to Wittenberg, the first reformed university in Europe, and goes to Wittenberg and hears about all these new kind of ways of being a modern person, not fighting, no blood revenge.
Right.
Because you can't rely on the past. You have to be your own king.
That's true.
And that's what Hamlet is fighting for, being himself on his own right, you
and
can
what
say.
I love about Hamlet, now that we're talking about it, I'm talking here with an expert like you, is that it's that inner struggle. He's always, what I love about this play is that he's always searching.
Absolutely.
He's always wondering.
Yeah.
He's doubting himself. He's doubting his mother. He's doubting what, it's about doubt.
And because he takes responsibility.
Right.
He's the one to be in charge of everything. He knows that, and that's new. Because before that, you could just blame the Catholic Church and whatever.
Right.
But the blaming period is over.
It runs a little deeper.
It's over. Now you are responsible of your own life.
Yeah.
And that's a new thing.
It's a modern approach.
And to be and not to be means, should I go to the old world and do blood revenge as the ghost tells me? Or should I go on my new kind of green lake from Wittenberg, trying to create a new world without blood revenge? And between the two poles, you have the reflection, space for the reflection, you can say. You have a choice. So that defines what it does mean to be a modern man. That we always have a choice. You don't have to go to war. You don't have to kill anybody.
It's a free will.
You have a free will, and you always have a choice, whatever.
I used to have a teacher. She passed away, a Russian acting coach. She was very tough, but I remember that she said, "Well, the greatest writers, they have all these great, always props. They can have the plot, and obviously they got action, and they got all that. But the greatest plays ever written, they always have props that create conflict." Like things that create, like the throne.
Exactly.
Or like the house in the Three Sisters. And with Chekhov.
Everybody wants it.
Everybody. So it's always an object that is creating all this
dilemmas.
And tension.
And tensions,
between characters. And Hamlet is so clear. Now let me ask you. There's been a lot of productions with Hamlet, with Shakespeare, all over the world. Two questions. How do we bring Shakespeare to the masses? Because Shakespeare somehow still, even to this day, is a little bit kind of like
it's a little complicated.
It's complicated.
That's right.
So how do we bring it to the audience? And number two, how do we bring it to children?
Two things, two answers.
Yes.
Firstly, I think it's very important to tell the true story to the audience, because it hasn't been very often, as I said before, it hasn't been done very clearly. Because many directors, they're a little afraid of the piece, and they say, okay, this scene I don't really understand, I take it out.
Cross it out.
And this I also cross out. So at the end, it's a kind of family drama between the new dad and the mother and the Hamlet guy. And that story is too little. It's not the idea of Shakespeare, because the whole framing, as I said before, is about revenge. So when the Hamlet performance starts, little Hamlet is coming home from Wittenberg. He's a kind of exchange student coming back to Elsinore. And the thing is that Hamlet's dad, real dad, he was also called Hamlet, to make it even more complicated. But his dad, Hamlet, he had killed the Norwegian king 30 years before. So there was a kind of special situation in Denmark when he comes back. That's a contest, So when Hamlet actually comes home from Wittenberg, there is military all over the place, because Denmark are in a war situation, because the Norwegian king and his son is sailing around in the Øresund to attack Denmark to do the blood revenge. So that is the framing. So the war plays a very significant role in the performance.
Even to rise like the stakes of the play, right?
Exactly. So when he comes back from Wittenberg and he knows that he's a new modern man, and he should know no swords anymore, because swords and daggers is no good way to go. So when he comes back, he thinks that Denmark is very boring and outdated, and so last year. So he doesn't understand why they are talking military, because back in Wittenberg, we drink a lot of tea and talk about how to become a modern man with no blood revenge. Right. But when he says to his mom, I don't like to be here, it's so old-fashioned, so I want to go back to Wittenberg, because it's a new flag, you can say. That's where things is going on, so he wants to go back to Wittenberg. And then the ghost appears.
Right.
You can't go to Wittenberg because you have to complete a mission. The thing is...
Right, the obstacle.
I didn't die from a natural death. Actually, I was killed.
Right.
So what do you have to? So what do you have to do now? And Hamlet, he looks at the ghost. I don't know what I have to do. Yes, you do. Okay, I'm a son of the blood revenge principle. I have to do an honor killing. So that's his struggle. He doesn't want to do this honor killing, because if he does an honor killing of his uncle, the uncle's son will come and kill him, and then he's what can I say, dependent on the past, and that is the whole problem. So Hamlet is fighting for not doing so, and normally we say he's playing foolish and so on. But in a sense, that's right. But it's.
Does he lose his mind in the process?
Kind of losing his mind. Yeah. But I think it's kind of try to win some time to figure out what to do. And the thing is, what does he do at the end? Because he wants to kind of reveal this uncle, this killing. Then he makes the theater in the theater. So he actually tells to the modern people in the future, art is the method, the weapon into the future. Do it artistically, but no weapons. You can make new.
To show a lesson.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the power of art. We can show new dimensions or new ways of being in the world and blah blah blah. And he reveals the king, because when he sees this mousetrap performance, the Danish king, he feels that he is revealed. So he stops, he cancels the show and ran out. He runs to the church here at Kronborg Castle.
Incredible. When I see the settings, I was telling you right before that I just got the Christopher Plummer version, because I've seen quite a few Laurence Olivier back in the day. Now I like the Laurence Olivier, but it's not my favorite. My favorite is the one by Kenneth Branagh. From the ones that I see.
It's a great movie, absolutely.
But I've seen the Christopher Plummer, and I didn't know that was the only one who was allowed to be in the castle.
And that was back in 1963. It was shot here at the castle with Philip Saville as the British director. Yeah, that's right.
And Michael Caine.
Yeah, Michael Caine.
And all these great actors back in the day.
Absolutely.
Plummer, it's a nice touch. It was a great. Well, he is a great actor, but
absolutely.
It's just it's a different. I don't know. I didn't see the one with John Gielgud. I mean, everybody talks about the old ones, but I can only Laurence Olivier, and of course I didn't see Jude Law, but Jude Law
he was here in 2009.
How excited!
Yeah, it was very exciting.
Let's talk about what's going on here, because I want to make sure that we cover as much as we can.
As possible.
The 2016.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to be 200 years. So let me see that we have it. She gave me 3 different flags.
Yeah, this is the one. We have two years that is special to us, because 2016, of course, the entire global marking of the 400 years of Shakespeare's death. That's one marking globally. But at the same time, we have a 200-year celebration of the world's oldest Shakespearean tradition up here at the castle. So we started up here in 1816. So that's why it's a double anniversary. So we can say that we are the oldest Shakespearean festival.
It's incredible.
That's special to work with.
But you have a lot of weight on your shoulders.
Yeah.
How does it work for you? I mean, give me a little breakdown. How does it work? Because this is
Of course, we work very hard at this office because we have to, and also because I feel that we kind of owe the public. To serve, we have a responsibility, and we need to serve the public, because there are so many expectations to what we are doing and how we prevent this whole tradition and blah blah blah. So I feel that we have a very strong responsibility. So that's why I think all of us working here, we are very clear about that demand, you can say, from the public. So we are very aware about that, and that's why I also say to all my collaborators that when we work here, it has to be high-end productions. We can't do semi-professional or whatever. We are very precise about what we are doing, because this is the best place to be when you're talking Shakespeare. So that's why we need the best collaborators. And when you have said that, you also get a lot of help, because we are in the same level, you can say. So we work together with all the best national theaters and big theater houses around the world. So we are on the same level, you can say.
Right. What about the summertime? In the summertime you have an open...
Yeah, and the summertime, of course, we have the festival. Next year, because of the anniversary, it will run for 3 weeks. So we have, I think, about 4 or 5 different performances coming from abroad here. And we also have our Shakespeare open air cinema every year, where we are presenting a special Shakespeare movie. And of course, next year we will present Philip Saville's Christopher Plummer, Hamlet, yes. And at the same time, before the audience will see the film, we will present a special documentary we have made on Philip Saville. Today he's around 85, so he has kind of revisited the castle for some times. So we have done a special documentary where he's telling here in our theater house today how it was to come back to Kronborg 50 years later. And so he tells very openly and very nicely about what an impact it made on him to do the Hamlet back then.
Right.
So it's a very nice documentary. It takes 40 minutes, and hopefully we can bring it on national TV here in Denmark as well, and BBC in England.
And it should be BBC in England. It should be in everywhere.
It should be everywhere, yeah. So it's fantastic. So the open air cinema is a part of our festivals next year, and also every year when we end up the festival, we always do a concert we call Shakespeare in Concert. That means that we make a concert out of music that is made on Shakespeare's work somehow. So it could be opera or it could be whatever. So next year we are working together with a Philharmonic orchestra. So they will come and play. They come from Helsingborg. It's our neighbor town in Sweden. So they will come and be the orchestra. There are 65 people sitting on stage and playing. And we will invite some great opera singers and other singers to perform. So the concert kind of concept is always very popular.
And your weeks seem pretty busy. Like
we are very busy, yes.
We have to, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I can't even imagine. You know, and because the reputation obviously is like the worldwide.
Yeah, it's worldwide.
So it's not.
And that's also what makes it very exciting. And when you go back to the Renaissance, when Frederick, the Danish king, actually built Kronborg, it took him 20 years to build the castle. And he just came back from Wittenberg as well, because Wittenberg in these medieval times, it was a very special university to go to, because it was called the place to be if you want to be a modern person. So they were talking about all the new ideas and to be trained and educated and things like that. That was very new in the medieval times. And Frederick, the Danish king, he also wanted to be a modern Danish king. So he actually went to Wittenberg to hear about all those new ideas. And that's why he wanted to set himself as the first Renaissance king. And that's why he built Kronborg as a Renaissance castle.
How much money do you think that took?
Oh, I don't remember, but
throw me a number.
It took 20 years, so a lot of people have been working on this castle.
And it remains the same.
It remains the same.
It's pretty much everything is nice.
And the good thing is that this is on UNESCO's heritage site. So you can say on the one hand it's a Renaissance castle, and on the other hand Shakespeare chose this castle to be the Hamlet Castle, which is a special story about how to be a modern person, pointing at the theatre and the art to be the new way instead of taking the dagger.
Smart,
so
significant. He knew exactly what he was doing.
He did, yeah. So the strong thing today is that the Hamlet story, which is the first kind of modern man story, because all of us is calling ourselves modern persons, we think that we are in charge of our own life. And it's a very strong and powerful story. And on the same side, the King Frederick built a castle for this, you can say, Prince Hamlet. So it's a very strong, powerful story that we have the Renaissance castle and we have this Shakespearean story about Hamlet, which is actually based on an old Danish story.
Right.
So that's another story.
It's a different story.
Yeah.
It's a different story.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, I heard, because this man was explaining to me that back in the day this place was dark, there was a lot of prisoners here. It was not like what we see now.
No. Now it's a kind of museum, you can say.
It's a museum.
Yeah. More likely.
But back in the day, it was a dark place.
Yeah.
A very strategic position.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of money running here.
Yeah, and also because Elsinore at that time was the kind of metropole. Because at that time Denmark was also Norway and Sweden, so it was a very large country. They called it Scandinavia, and Frederick II was the king of this. So Elsinore was placed in the middle of Scandinavia.
Right, just from the strategic.
Exactly. So that's why he had the power to build this castle. So actually at that time he was in the middle. And of course we are back in the medieval times. So everything was much more, you can say, much more old-fashioned in all kind of ways. So this was a workplace.
Right.
Really, it was a workplace, and the castle yard was very dirty, and the animals was running around, and and when the Pete that just opened the window and threw out the pea from the window. And so I think it has been very stinky, you can say.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
it's like
it's quite different from now on.
But going in, I came here last year and I said, I gotta come back here. This is a place that you want to come back.
Yeah.
But it's a place that is powerful. It's
very
so
powerful. Yeah. It's a power, and it's also a power symbol. It was also to frighten all the people coming from outside.
Like nobody will have access. That's the reason why it was built that way, so nobody can have access to it.
Absolutely.
No, let me ask you, in terms of like, you're a theater man. Do you go to the theater much? Do you go and see plays in Denmark? Let's talk a little bit about it. I want to bring up to the attention all the Danish actors, the Danish talent. Let's talk about that. Please.
We have a very strong theater tradition here in Denmark, and that's because we have very good theater schools. So people here are generally very well trained. And for the last 10 years, because of Danish film has raised enormously, there is a lot of attention on Danish actors. So many great Danish actors has the possibility to work abroad. So we have big names. We have...
what's his name? The guy who... From James Bond?
Mads Mikkelsen.
And he was he made a movie called The Royal Affair. Have you seen it?
I've seen it.
It's filmed right here in Copenhagen.
That's true. But he's Mads Mikkelsen. He's trained in one of the Danish national theatre schools, you can say. So because of this, the Danish film movement has raised so highly and has become very highly profiled. There is a lot of attention on Danish actors. So and the Danish theatre world is very powerful, I think.
Right. Well, how do you describe it?
Like,
how do you define the stage actors in Denmark?
I think they are very strong as psychological actors because we are in Europe and we have a very strong tradition of doing this based on Stanislavski and so on. So we are very, very much well trained. So I think that's why they are very good actors, because they know a lot about what does it mean to be a psychological actor.
Well, are you method 100% or you're not?
Actually, they are trained with different kind of ways. So we don't only have one Lis Strasberg kind of. We do not
because a lot of people in New York, they're very much they go to Meisner
or Lis Strasberg.
Or some people, whatever works for you. I was in an interview with Michael Fassbender. And he's one of my favorites. And he said, "Well, I'm not method." He said, "I'm just do whatever works for you."
Exactly. I think in Denmark in general and in Scandinavia, we are more holistic. So we take the best parts from everything, and make it to our own kind of method.
A dream production for you will be what?
In 2017, we are actually building a new stage here at the castle, because normally we have always been inside the castle yard, but in the future it will be too small because of the audience will to come here has increased a lot. So in 2017 we are having a new stage outside the castle. But still on the ground, you can say, but outside, right here. So on this south side, this will be our new base, you can say. So we'll have a huge stage, and that means also that we will begin working more internationally with producers and actors. My dream is that this is a Renaissance castle, and Renaissance means that we put the human being in the center. So to me, I want it to be a democratic place, because this is Shakespearean, and Shakespeare is for everyone. In the future, we will bring the best actors from the world's 7 continents to this place and do internationally produce Shakespeare performances, which we tour with. And we're also working on having transmissions from the Hamlet Castle in Elsinore. So that's my dream. So my dream is in the future, from 17 and on, that we will bring the best actors from the whole world to work together.
What's the best actors for you? Give me a few names. Out of the top of your head. I know that it's not a fair question, but what the hell? Honestly, when you talk about what kind of, let's give me names that you like, people that you
there is kind of 2 categories, because when I'm thinking on starting this international produced tradition, working with the best actors from abroad, I've been thinking on international actors who has a kind of Scandinavian kind of contact with their ancestors or so on. So I've been thinking on Scarlett Johansson, because she comes from Denmark in a way. There is Viggo Mortensen, who also has...
He's amazing.
So I've been thinking on strong characters who has a relation back then to Scandinavia. But there are so many great actors.
And what about people who don't have big names?
Yeah.
Man? There's a lot of great actors everywhere in New
Yeah,
York
you're
City.
right. Yeah,
I
great
can't
actors.
even tell you. I go to the studio, the actor studio often, and I see session there. And sometimes like Ellen Burstyn comes to moderate, or Estelle Parsons, who used to be the artistic director back in the day.
Yes.
She's quite a character, quite a woman. It's tough, but she knows what she wants. But it's nice to see actors coming from everywhere. There's a lot of members of the studio, people that I know. They're so talented, but they're very method. But hey, what the hell? It's about mixing.
If it works, it's about mixing.
What about Liv Ullmann? Bring Liv as a director.
Yeah, that could be exciting as well. But there are so many great people to put together. But the aim to me is to bring people together and take them out of their boxes.
So this will be. Can you say it? If we're thinking out loud, it will be. This is like a UN.
Yeah, you can say.
Of the theater.
Yeah, you can say so. Yeah, it's my dream to make this as a global place to meet, because the world is in fire, you can say.
Right.
So we need the artistic people to go together and make the new world.
And more with the fact that with just one click, and we're there. The world has is much smaller now.
Absolutely. So we have all the possibilities to make this dream alive, come true, you can say.
Yeah.
So to me, I think the Kronborg Castle, Hamlet's Castle, famous Hamlet's Castle, should be this meeting point for the global artistic minds
and even for
to collaborate.
What about workshops?
Workshops, masterclasses, lectures, training, whatever.
So it will
we can fill this castle. We can fill this castle with the best artistic people from the world.
What about opening a school too?
Yeah, absolutely. We should do an academy and so on. It could be fantastic. Absolutely, that's my.
You have to. I mean, honestly.
You are right. You are absolutely right.
Put a school right here.
Yeah, exactly. In the center.
Right here, where you bring in all the productions.
Absolutely.
And we're talking about the public as well.
Yes, I'm dreaming of collaborating with the public theater.
In New York City, as everybody knows, the public, the famous public theater.
And Shakespeare in the Park.
Shakespeare in the Park.
So it could be fantastic to have Shakespeare at the castle working together with Shakespeare in the Park.
Yes,
it could be a very interesting
thing to do. But it makes sense to have the school, because it's like, to have all the teachers and bringing people.
Absolutely.
I have, I said, quite a few names, quite a few people that I love. I have an acting coach. Her name is Elizabeth Kemp.
Okay.
And she's a studio member. She's in the board of directors. But Elizabeth Kemp, K-E-M-P. She's absolutely an amazing acting coach. And it's not that I'm bragging about her now, but we're talking about great mentors.
Absolutely.
And she's an actor, director, but she teaches at Pace University.
Okay.
And she obviously works she's a studio member, and she had done, she has a lot of famous people under her wing that she's coaching now. Yeah. But she's absolutely remarkable, and it will be interesting to bring teachers from even from the Kabuki theater.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Everybody should come here. Actually, we are working on a no production for next year as well at the moment.
Okay.
So and before this, the Peking Opera has been here. So it's for our mindset, it's normal to think in all the kind of countries to come here.
Yeah.
Because the world needs a place to meet.
Yes.
And this should be one of the hot spots in the future.
And it has a great reputation. This is like...
Absolutely.
And the pressure is...
Yeah, and you can also say that Hamlet is an icon of the theater world.
Right.
He is the icon of theater.
Right.
So
he is the theater.
He is the theater. And Shakespeare is the biggest dramatist ever. So of course we should reach our hand out and say this loud. Because we should be the one to do this. Also to prevent, as I said before, the whole tradition.
What about the government? Let's get a little political now.
Yeah. But the government is quite supportive about this, and also the municipality of Elsinore. They are very keen of progressing this idea. but it takes time.
Of course.
And all the budgets for arts in these years are lower than normal because
But it happens everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's the same in the United States.
Yeah, it's the same.
It's the same in New York.
Absolutely.
It's like there's a lot of great talent. There's a lot of great artists doing work everywhere.
Yeah.
But the key is to get them together, to get the finances, to get the numbers, to make it happen.
So it takes maybe a little more time right now, but it's okay. So we can have the time to think it over twice and that's always clever. So, so I think it's okay. So I think the government here in Denmark and as I said, the municipality is very keen on progressing this idea.
What's the biggest challenge of running this company?
I think the biggest challenge is to establish this, my dream, to establish this, you can say, this international in-house productions for the future, to get the money. We need about 1 million euros for each productions ahead.
We're talking in dollars, I'm not good with numbers.
Euros, in euros, we're talking about euros, so it's not that much money. It's 1 million euros we need for each production. I don't know how much it will be.
And you do how many a year? Is when you do it?
Normally we do the festival, we bring in lots of companies.
Yes,
but in 2017 we will start up doing one.
Here.
Yeah, we'll do one production here with actors from abroad, the best actors we can get, and set it here.
Bring Judy Dench.
Yeah, that could be fantastic.
Oh my God.
We have just started working with a producer in the UK, so because they are very attached to the rest of the world because of the story. I mean the UK. So we are working together with this UK-based producer, and so we are doing well.
Look at how interesting. We're talking, and there's a crane in the background.
Yeah.
As you guys can see, it's a lot of construction going on here too.
Yeah.
So it's part of the equation. We can't fake it.
Absolutely.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
No, I think that this is wonderful. I wanted to thank you. This is something that is it's just a very special place.
It is a very special. Also to me, it is very, very special.
You seem happy.
And come here every year.
I know. And your wife. Let's talk a little bit about your wife. She's a costume designer?
Yeah, she's a costume designer and a stage designer. Ah. Yeah. So she does both.
And how you guys met?
In the theater school.
And you fell in love? You were the first one? She came to you, you went to her?
I came to her, I remember.
Immediately? Was love at first sight?
Absolutely it was.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a very strong story,
I can see it, very strong bond. That's good.
But when you work together with your partner, there becomes a special relationship.
Yes.
Because when the years they pass, you get more and more close also in your mindset. Yeah. Because you work together, you have a lot of experience together, you have kids together.
You fight a lot during the times. And sometimes something is going on. Say, well, does she agree with you 100% and everything? No.
No. Hopefully not. No.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. We need to discuss as well.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Discussions is good.
And I wanted to ask you, how often do you go to New York? When is going to be your next visit there?
Hopefully next spring I will come because we're working together with US-based Shakespeare group called Shakespeare Forum, and they are based in New York. And we have for 5 years we have worked on a special project we call a generation project. So I has taken as a director the 3 main characters out of the Hamlet performance. So I work with the Hamlet character, the mom character, and the stepdad character. So I have made a project that I call the Hamlet's Family Project. And that means I make new stories based on the old story around the characters. So take this Prince H, which we are coming to New York with. Prince H is a young man, he's 20 years old. He deals with the dilemmas which I has taken from the original play. So he deals with his dad has died, he has got a new dad. Ophelia, his girlfriend, has dumped him, and so on. So I take the old, you can say, themes and blend them into the new world. Right. And then this show, this Prince H Universe talk show, is a talk show because he talks to the audience. So it is This is the one, right? Yeah, this is a Hamlet's Family talk show.
And we're going to do this in post-production, as Theron will be, but this is the one. Okay, nice.
So we are coming, actually, we are working on coming to New York, and we're having 2 great actors, one black actor from the Bronx, and one white from the Manhattan.
What a nice mix.
So the idea, and they were here last year, so we have done the show. So actually the thing is that I have to come over and complete it. So hopefully we will have the premieres in March next year in New York.
So maybe I'm going to see you there. That will
be nice. Absolutely. I will invite you, of course.
I can bring you to the studio. You can
absolutely.
There is a big,
absolutely.
There.
Yeah.
And sit down and do all these interviews. I wanted to ask you just to wrap it up. I'm sorry that I keep asking you, but
it's fine.
You're a theater man, so you know.
I'm used to it.
You're used to this.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, what makes a great actor and what makes a great director in your opinion?
Yeah. A great actor is an actor who is very good listener. An actor who can who is good at listening and to kind of find out what is aim for the director, and then makes it into life. And on the other hand, the director is also needs to be a good listener. So I think it's very important that the director is very open to the material that you are working on, because it's different to make Shakespeare, to make Ibsen, to make whatever. And I don't like this kind of direction. When people are saying, I'm the director, I always do like this. This is my style.
And this is my way,
I don't,
your way.
I don't like that.
Right.
I think as a very good director, you have to be open to the material.
Right.
So the material will lead you.
Right.
And a good director makes actors good. It's not about when the performance is done, everybody can see I did it.
Right.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I like opposite.
You're right. And
So,
it's nice when the actors and directors, when you go to a theater, sometimes you go and you feel that actors are and the director's right there, but
exactly.
there's no unity.
No, exactly. And if you want to make it kind of more holistic, you can say that if you want the performance to be very strong, then you need everything to blend together.
Right.
And the only way that you can have things blended together, if you are very aware about the process that you are working on. So a good director is very open to the process and know from the very beginning what exactly, which story I would like to tell. But how I will tell it, the actors will tell me.
Right, everything is in the writing.
Absolutely.
More with William Shakespeare, like you don't touch his words, you don't cross them out.
No, of course not, because there is a reason why they're there.
There's a reason why they're there.
Yeah.
And do you do a lot of improvisation in your work, or you don't? Or sometimes?
It's different, you can say.
It's different.
Yeah.
You play.
For some scenes, I need to do some improvisation.
Okay.
And other scenes, the preparation is to talk it over and tell the characters, but this feeling is about blah blah blah. And then it's like when I lost my daughter or whatever. Yeah, exactly. It was a bad image, but
Right.
Yeah, we talk it over.
You're open. I think
I'm always,
we cover as much as we could, right? We make
Absolutely.
the agenda, we want to make sure that everything is done, properly done. I wanted to thank you. Thank you so much for having us here. It was a pleasure to meet you.
You're so much welcome.
I think we had fun. We had a good time.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you here.
And wanted to thank my audience in New York and everywhere. We're going to be posting this interview in the entire world. And Esteban Quesada Vizcaíno, my cinematographer, I just wanted to thank him publicly. He is the man. And we can wrap it up. If you want to say something, you can say it. If you're not, you can talk to me and say, Sissy, thank you so much. If you want to talk to your wife, say, I call you when I get home, leave me alone, don't text her now. You can do whatever you want. But thank you for your time.
Thank you for having us here.
Pleasure. And this is what I'm talking about.